Hello and welcome. Tonight, residents of the Federal Capital Territory go to the polls to elect new leadership for the 6 area councils. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, monitors the FCT Area Council election, defends restriction of movement order. The chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Joash Amuputo, assures FCT residents that their votes will count at the council polls. And U.S. President Donald Trump defies Supreme Court order, raises global tariffs to 15%. On sports news tonight, Carlos Alcaraz delivers another statement performance at the ATP 500 Qatar Open, sweeping past out of field in just 50 minutes to secure the trophy in Doha. It's a weekend of elections. The focus is on the third tier of government, local government elections and state constituency. From Abuja, where residents elected new council chairmen and councillors to preside over local government affairs for the next 4 years, to River State, where there's a state constituency election for the State Assembly to vote in representatives in 2 local government areas, Ahoda and Kano. And in Kano, there were elections to vote representatives into the State Constituency Assembly to fill 2 vacant seats in the State House of Assembly following the deaths of former lawmakers last year. Let's begin in the nation's capital. Low voter turnout, late arrival of materials and difficulties locating polling units are just some of the challenges recorded by some voters as residents went out to elect new sets of chairmen and councillors for the 6 area councils in the FCT. Our correspondents monitoring the exercise report that in several polling units across Buari and Abuja Municipal Area Council, voters were not in sight, even though election officers were ready for accreditation and voting. While in other polling units across Dutse and parts of Kubwa, voters waited for hours for the arrival of electoral officers.
It's election day in the Federal Capital Territory to elect chairmen and councillors for the 6 area councils in the FCT. And officials of the Independent National Electoral Commission are departing for their various polling units for the exercise, which is scheduled to begin at 8:30 a.m. At the Karu Junior Secondary School, INEC officials arrived on time, and when it was time to begin accreditation and voting, very few voters were on the ground for the exercise. The situation is almost the same at other polling units across the Abuja Municipal Area Council. There is low voter turnout when compared with the number of registered voters, with the electoral umpire placed at over 300,000. Some of the voters also found it difficult to locate their polling units owing to the recent delineation of polling units by the electoral umpire.
The process is not easy, due to the fact that there is no proper arrangement, in the sense that most of our polling units are not being informed. We are split and there's no official information about that. So people are still trying to look for their polling units.
And I noticed that all over the voter turnout is very low. Maybe it's because it's local council election. Maybe in the future it will have more people coming out. Then the most painful aspect of the whole thing is that there is serious mix-up in the registers. So, and that's a problem because many people have been disenfranchised. Yeah, so you go round, first you go to your voting point, you find out that your name has been moved to somewhere that you do not know. So you spend virtually half of the day trying just to trace your name among the polling units. So that's not the best. I think INEC needs to do something.
Polling units at the Sagwari Primary School in Duse did not start accreditation and voting until past 9 a.m. as election officers tried to get things ready for the exercise. When voting eventually commenced, some voters had challenges finding their polling units.
INEC is supposed to put somebody who will be directing people A, B, based on surname. Okay. Because the thing starts based on surname. A people go that side, but people like us come out, begin the hustle to go and begin the. It's too much. It's not supposed to be so. But what do we do? Not than to follow whatever. The election process is okay. It's moving fine, actually. But the arrangement is not in order. Many people have gone by because they did not even see their name.
Despite the difficulties, some of the voters commend INEC for the upgrade on the bimodal voter accreditation system, the BVAS.
There's an improvement because as at last time, it took time. But this particular one, it didn't take me any. It took less than a minute for me to be accredited. Less than a minute.
And I thought I would go for accreditation first before coming back to vote. But I was amazed that immediately I was given a ballot paper, they cast my vote, I was accredited, and I voted instantly. So that is one of those things I observed differently.
I want to call it hybrid. That's to say there's a very big improvement. Because I remember in the past when you go there, you will see somebody 10 minutes, nothing being done. They'll be repeating, some will even have to hang, but in this situation it's not like that.
Meanwhile, it's a mixed bag of low voter turnout and the late arrival of INEC officials in most polling units in Buhari and its environs. In some of the polling units, INEC officials are ready, but no voters are on the ground, while in others, voters are the ones waiting for the INEC officials to commence the election process.
The polling unit by Nazar Pharmacy, no officials. So the only people we saw there were only party agents and a few people who are willing to vote. However, they have set up no party agents and no people to vote. So that's just the irony of it. And here, the primary school here in Buhari, I think you can see some activities. They're already set up. Since we just came in, I don't know if people have voted already, but I think so far so good. It's a bit the timing, in some places they've started early, in some places they have not started.
As voting ends at about 2:45 p.m. at the polling units in Sagwari Primary School, officials mark out unused ballot papers before proceeding with the sorting and counting of votes. At the end of the counting, results were entered into the result sheets signed by party agents and copies were distributed to the agents. INEC is conducting elections into 6 area councils in Abuja to elect 6 council chairmen and 62 councillors who will pilot the affairs of the 6 area councils in the FCT for the next 4 years.
The FCT minister has replied critics who faulted the restriction of movement from 8 p.m. on Friday to 6 p.m. today, saying that he never imposed the curfew. Rather, the approval came from the president. Speaking after monitoring the FCT polls, Mr. Nyesom Wike commended INEC for the peaceful conduct of the exercise, especially the use of BVAS. The police and other security operatives also monitored the conduct of the FCT Area Council election.
Leading a team of senior police officers, the FCT Commissioner of Police sets out to monitor the area council elections. The monitoring begins from Buhari Area Council, where a few residents defied the movement restriction order. From Buhari to the Abuja Municipal Area Council and then Abaji on the outskirts of the nation's capital, the process remained peaceful. Satisfied with the conduct of the exercise, the FCT Commissioner of Police shares his thoughts.
So far, the conduct has been very, very peaceful. The exercise, as far as I'm concerned, is encouraging with the little I have seen. And I am thinking that if we sustain it, if we're able to sustain it this way, we would say that it was a successful exercise.
With the police monitoring far-flung places within the nation's capital, the commandant of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps holds sway within the city center. After monitoring the exercise, he speaks on his experience.
I think that whatever it is that has happened during this election, by the time we get back to the table, we'll be able to review, assess, and from whatever findings we get, we'll be able to go back and make amends where necessary.
The FCT minister also monitored the conduct of the exercise in areas such as Garki, Apo, Wasa, among others. However, he expressed his dissatisfaction with the low turnout of voters. Meanwhile, he took out time to reply critics, particularly the senator representing the FCT, Ireti Kingibe, who faulted the FCT movement restriction from 8 p.m. on Friday 20th to 6 p.m. on Saturday 21st.
It's unfortunate. I thought as a senator that she should be able to read. I never imposed coffee. If you had my statement, I said, with the approval of Mr. President, with the approval of Mr. President, I said from 8 p.m. to 6 p.m. today, that people are doing the Will 6 movement. And this is not the first time. And you can see that they don't take patience to read it. I know she reads love magazines and all those things, but I don't have a chance to read on that educative material.
Nevertheless, the minister commended the conduct of the exercise.
Meanwhile, the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Joash Amufito, has assured the Abuja residents that their votes will count this time around. The INEC boss, who gave the assurance while monitoring the elections across some polling units, explained that the BVAS is working efficiently, noting that results of the council elections will be transmitted electronically to the INEC result viewing portal, IRO.
As far as the efficiency of the BVAS is concerned, I am very satisfied because the BVAS have worked effectively and efficiently. And from what I have taken from the assistant presiding officers, it takes about less than 5 seconds to even accredit a voter. And you can see from here, there's large turnout. So, meaning that a lot of people are becoming aware of the need to come and cast their votes. So far, I can say that the election is well organized. The election is peaceful. From the calm atmosphere you have seen, you can see a lot of people here, and they are conducting themselves well. And I learned that there are about 30 security personnel that are present here, and they are also conducting their affairs in an orderly manner. So we hope at the close of the poll, we'll have a very successful election. If the BVAS works very well, it will guarantee the integrity of the whole system. So if you are not accredited, you can't vote. When you are accredited, you can cast your votes. And BVAS working effectively means that you can transmit your results. What I know is that the voices of the Nigerian citizens will count this time around. The collation is going to go efficiently well. And from the collation and then the transmission of the results, you can be sure of a credible result.
In part two, after the break, more reactions trail the FCT area council election. Plus, rescued victims of Kumingwali return home after treatment at the hospital in Kaduna. That's in a moment. Join us again. Welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, broadcasting live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Residents of the Federal Capital Territory go to the polls to elect new leadership for the 6 area councils. The FCT Minister Yesom Wike monitors area council election, defends restriction of movement order. The INEC chairman, Professor Joash Amukuto, assures FCT residents that their votes will count at council polls. And President Donald Trump defies U.S. Supreme Court, raises global tariffs to 15%. In River State, voter turnout was low in the by-elections in Kano Constituency 2 and Ahoda East Constituency 2, although the exercise was largely peaceful. The by-elections followed the death of the member representing Kano Constituency 2 and resignation of Ahoda East representative Mr. Edison Ehe, who was appointed as the chief of staff to the state government. Our correspondent covered the election.
The River State by-elections were conducted peacefully in Ahoda East 2 and Kano 2 constituencies. Voting was conducted across 155 polling units in 8 wards within Kano Constituency 2, with most centres recording low turnout. 2 major opposition parties, ADC and PDP, were absent from the ballot papers. The parties listed were AA, APC, NNPP, YPP, and ZLP. Restriction of movement was also largely ignored as markets and other businesses operated during the voting period.
Voting went on smoothly in all 155 polling units. There was no acrimony, there was no fight, there was no quarrel. In fact, in most units, they were just exchanging banters. So all the political parties, I mean political parties, I don't mean those associations that are just coming up. I mean all political parties are working together.
It's a by-election, and, normally people come out late in the villages.
Meanwhile, in Ahoda East Constituency 2, INEC ad hoc staff arrived early at polling units, but turnout remained low in most areas visited.
I just finished voting now. There is no single problem in anything voting. I passed through all the hurdles and I saw my name in all the system everywhere and I voted. And we're here. By the grace of God, we're going to celebrate.
The chairman of Kano and Ahoda East local government areas say adequate security measures were put in place to ensure a peaceful and hitch-free exercise.
We had to go around the area where election took place to be sure that indeed our visitors, those engaged by INEC to act as election umpire, also do their work without any fear of molestation. All of that put together, I can say authoritatively that we have witnessed a very peaceful election.
You can see that we have placed all our machineries on ground. There's no way that we will leave this place without putting our men on ground. You can see how peaceful the place is. Everybody is out here to cast their vote.
The by-elections were conducted to fill 2 seats in the River State House of Assembly. These vacancies follow the death of Dina Barilolo, the former representative of Kano Constituency 2, and the resignation of Edison Ehe, who took an appointment as Chief of Staff to the governor.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has also conducted by-elections in 2 constituencies in Kano State. The exercise became imperative following the death of the lawmakers representing those areas. However, the polls were conducted without the participation of 3 major political parties. Our correspondent, Sadiq Ilyasu, has this report.
In Ungogo constituency, voting commenced early with electoral officials and security personnel on ground. Despite the timely arrival of materials, only a handful of voters were seen at many polling units. The accreditation and voting process were described as swift and hitch-free, with voters able to cast their ballots within minutes.
The election is very simple. I didn't waste time at all. As we vote, we hope to have a good representation.
There is a noticeable calm here in Kano as voting continues in today's by-election for the municipal and Ngogo state constituencies. But beyond the calm, there are two major talking points. First, three major opposition parties, the People's Democratic Party, the New Nigeria People's Party, and the African Democratic Congress, are missing from the ballot. Their absence has sparked controversy, with party leaders accusing INEC of denying them the opportunity to participate. The electoral body, however, insists it gave all parties equal opportunity and says it is fully prepared to deliver a free and credible poll. Second, there appears to be voter apathy in many of the polling units visited, as some started at 11 a.m. Some units recorded fewer than 10 voters, with officials largely on standby waiting for turnout to improve. Observers say both the low turnout and the absence of key opposition parties could ultimately influence the outcome of this election.
The resident electoral commissioner in the state attributed the low turnout to the nature and timing of the by-election, noting that by-polls typically do not attract the same level of participation as general elections.
First of all, I think the timing, maybe Ramadan. Second, I think the general feeling that this is a very small election involving only two candidates, very few parties, 9 contesting.
Meanwhile, the Kano State Commissioner of Police assured residents of adequate security, stating that personnel were deployed across strategic locations to ensure a peaceful exercise.
That is our duty, to deploy adequately, and we have done it. So that's a credit to us, and we continue providing security of life and properties during the election, before the election, after the election.
In both Ngogo and Kano municipal constituencies, the by-elections were conducted peacefully with no major incidents reported. Electoral and security authorities expressed satisfaction with the overall conduct of the polls, even as low voter turnout remained a key talking point. Sadiq Ilyasu, Channels Television News.
To other stories now, the former Action Aid Country Director, NLB, has criticized what she describes as the president's hasty signing of the new Electoral Act. On our breakfast show Sunrise Today, she said the manner in which the bill was signed leaves much to be desired. Well, beyond the act, she advocated for more citizen engagement in the electoral process.
How quickly it signed showed that the president was with the whole idea, or maybe it was from his office that the whole thing emerged. So it means that he and his team are quite aware, and they were being copied, or everything, or maybe the interest of the president is represented, and they were monitoring every minute of it. And when it came to him, it was not it's not strange anymore. It's not the best to delay, bills when it has come to you, when for assent. So that's why I say it can be negative or positive, because what really happened that you signed it so quickly? Is it because of the FCT election? It can't catch up with it because they are already in the field, But what exactly are we? There is a lot that needs to hear, and I think very interesting too. What will let people want to willingly go and vote is that we don't vote in Nigeria. We don't vote for individuals. We vote for political parties. And you see people using the people. The emblem of the party is the one that, the logo of the party is the one that you vote for. And after voting, many people are jumping ship. They are jumping from one party to the other and doing that and thinking that that is whole and whole. Under normal circumstances, when you jump like that, you declare vacant, the position vacant. Let other people compete for it. But it's so many things leading to what we want to do, inspires people to come and vote. But we need a re-engineering of citizenship responsibilities. We all need to pick our responsibilities, take it very seriously, because that's the highest office of the land, the office of citizenship. You can decide, and you can hold people accountable. But let people go out there, whether it's electronic transmission or whatever is happening, go and vote, wait for your votes to be counted, and look at what will happen, and then, let's have some transparency and accountability, but people holding government to account by being a part of the process.
The security matters now. Emotional scenes unfolded at Kuminwali community in Kajuru local government area of Kaduna State as the 183 victims of bandits' attack who were rescued weeks ago finally returned home to their families. The return marks a significant moment of relief and healing for residents who anxiously waited to see their loved ones since the incident occurred on January the 18th.
After weeks of uncertainty and fear, smiles and tears of joy filled the air as rescued victims arrived back in Kuminwali community. Their journey back home began at the Women and Children Shelter in the Kaduna State capital, where the Deputy Governor was on ground to bid them farewell and also offer words of encouragement to them. The victims, who were kidnapped during a Sunday church service on January 18, were rescued by security forces following a coordinated operation weeks after they were abducted. The state government had conducted medical evaluations for them immediately after their rescue. Counseling support was also arranged to help them recover from the traumatic experience.
They have received treatment from doctors, and also we have the therapy of children, which is the first of its kind that we have done in this shelter for these children. We have pregnant women, by God's grace, who have gone through checks. Some of them have not attended even antenatal, but because of this, government has looked into their issue and they are safe and fine now.
Delivering a farewell message to the victims on behalf of Governor Obasani, the Kaduna State Deputy Governor reaffirms the state government's commitment to improving security across the state.
His Excellency is very particular about everyone in Kaduna State, but especially at this moment with the people of Kuminwali, both the men, women, and the children. He has said, I should convey to you that he will continue to put in whatever is necessary to ensure that you people in Kuminwali and all other communities in Kaduna are safe.
Then the journey back home begins. After the over 2 hours journey, the victims arrived at the community. Community members gather in large numbers, cheering and offering prayers of gratitude as the buses convene. The victims pulled into the village square, accompanied by security operatives. Family members embraced their loved ones, some unable to hold back tears of joy.
When they kidnapped, I was very upset, but thank God now that I see them back, I'm now fully with joy now.
I feel very happy, very excited. I can't even spell the excitement that I'm feeling right now, because I'm very happy that everyone has home safely. Nobody has happened to anyone. I'm very happy.
While the return of the abducted victims bring relief, residents say the incident has left a lasting impact. Security presence in and around Kuminwali has been strengthened as authorities continue to make efforts to tackle the challenges of banditry in the area.
Still ahead on the news at 10, economic think tank CPPE says government will strengthen power and transport sectors to attract long-term foreign investment into the country. That's in a moment. Join us again. Welcome back. About 30 people have been killed and several others abducted following an attack in Anka local government area of Zamfara State. The incident occurred when government invaded the Sindan Ajia village around midnight on Thursday and operated till the early hours of Friday. Residents said the gunmen, who reportedly arrived on motorcycles, blocked the village entrance and began shooting before carrying out the abductions. The incident comes after the Zamfara State government recently launched newly acquired security hardware and surveillance drones to strengthen the fight against insecurity. Governor Dauda Lawal has directed his deputy to visit the affected community and convey his condolences to the families of the victims. Coming shortly after the Valentine's season, when love is widely celebrated across the world, the Diocese of Lagos Church of Nigeria Anglican Communion is extending the conversation with Love Fest 2.0. With the theme, Love is Safe, the event moves beyond romantic expressions to explore a deeper faith-based understanding of love, grounded in security, trust, and emotional well-being.
While love still lingers in the air from Valentine, Love Fest 2.0 brings together singles, couples, and church leaders for discussions centered on healthy relationships, self-worth, and emotional stability under the theme, Love is Safe. Drawing inspiration from 1 John chapter 4, verse 18, there is no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear. The keynote speaker, Professor Moses Akombi, highlights the basis of genuine love, which is built on mutual respect, accountability, and spiritual maturity.
If love produces fear, anxiety, manipulation, pressure, or shame, then it is not perfect love.
A panel session follows featuring experienced faith leaders who share perspectives shaped by years of Christian service, marriage, and community leadership.
What is the greatest commandment? It says, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart. And it says the second commandment is to love your neighbor as yourself. If you love your neighbor as yourself, you will not wish anything bad, anything evil, anything wicked to or for your neighbor. So that's a safe corridor. And once that is the fulcrum of your own mindset, then even within your home state, your home, that love will resonate.
We are all equal before God, but we have different roles. So even in a relationship, let's take marriage as an example. A man has his role and a woman has her own. The fact that the man is the head does not mean that the woman is unequal. It just means that somebody has to lead.
Speaking on the sidelines of the event, the Diocesan Bishop of Lagos, the Right Reverend Ifedola Okupevi, expresses his hope for the influence of the event on young people navigating relationships.
The youths of today need to be guided. We need to direct them. So we want these youths to know the truth, and we want the truth to set them free so that we can have a good nation, a good state, a good church, and a good society.
In a culture where love is often misrepresented, Love Fest 2.0 positions the church as a guide, reminding believers that God's design for love is whole, healthy, and restorative.
Company news now. Legrand, a global leader in electrical and digital building infrastructure, has unveiled new value-driven product solutions designed to meet evolving market demands at its partners' dinner in Lagos. The event hosts distributors and partners to recognize their commitment to the brand and to share in the company's growth strategy for 2026.
Legrand, Nigeria, a global leader in electrical and digital building infrastructure, sets the stage in Lagos for a strategic partners dinner. The maiden event brings together key partners, distributors, and industry stakeholders to strengthen relationships, unveil its 2026 growth strategy, and foster collaboration for the year ahead. The managing director of Legrand, Nigeria, and the Gulf of Guinea, Mr. Sheikh Ben Ahimvi, opens the occasion with a warm address.
Today is an event to connect, because
I think the result or the success of Legrand in Gulf of Guinea, Ghana, and Nigeria is not something that Legrand all can be able to achieve if you don't have kind of, let's say, a connection, a partnership, and to develop this business that everybody wants to succeed in.
The evening debuts Legrand Nigeria's new offerings to the market, including lighting control solutions aimed at improving efficiency in residential and commercial buildings. The brand honors its partners and distributors with formal certificates of distributorship and awards in recognition of the commitment and unwavering support.
We're loyal customers of Legrand. As a matter of fact, we don't sell any other electrical wiring brand besides Legrand because, I mean, it's peace of mind. And when you're selling Legrand, you're talking to your customers about Legrand. You are speaking to quality, you are speaking to durability, and you're speaking to safety and all of the things that is backed up with a company the size of Legrand.
With operations in over 90 countries, Legrand provides innovative solutions for residential, commercial, industrial, and data center applications.
2026 will be a year of strategy, so we are really strategizing our business. Success is a teamwork, and without our partner, we're not going to be today. And to celebrate our year 2025 and our strategy in 2026. So bonding everybody and reconnect with our customer and the partner is something very key. Key strategy.
As Legrand deepens its collaboration with its partners, the company says it is positioning itself to drive innovation, improve product availability, and support Nigeria's evolving development sector in 2026.
Governor Moino has insisted that Akwa Ibom State will not cede any of its resources, declaring that his administration will continue to engage through lawful and institutional channels to protect what rightfully belongs to the state. The governor gave the assurance during the second anniversary celebration of the Golden Initiative for All, the pet project of the First Lady. He stated that the matter of oil wells has already been settled by 2 Supreme Court judgments.
Let me say this loud and clear. There is no cause for alarm concerning our God-given resources. The matter has been handled by the presidency, and I trust the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We have 2 Supreme Court judgments, and there is no reason whatsoever, nothing has changed that will enable us begin to look at Supreme Court issues again. No committee can overturn a Supreme Court judgment. No government parastatal can overturn a Supreme Court judgment. Akwa Ibom does not have a maritime boundary with Cross River. We have a maritime boundary with Cameroon, and any attempt to shift that boundary will be tampering with the ICJ judgment, and we know that it becomes an international issue. I understand that people will campaign using this as political tool. We forgive them. Let them continue to hype and deceive their people in ignorance. But we know the truth. We will not cede one well of oil well belonging to Akwa Ibom State.
The Universal Basic Education Commission has announced the distribution of 15 million school kits across the country as part of efforts to arrest the menace of out-of-school children. Addressing participants at the Maiden Benue Basic Education Summit, the UBEC Executive Secretary Aisha Garba said the commission is working towards reducing the number of out-of-school children in the country. She disclosed that Benue, serving as the pilot state, is receiving 39,000 school kits worth 500 million naira.
The
Benue State Government is collaborating with the Universal Basic Education Commission, UBEC, and the National Commission for Almajiri and Out-of-School Children Education to come up with innovative strategies to enhance enrollment and retention of school children in basic schools. The key education stakeholders in their remarks advocate the need to address the challenge of out-of-school children. Key education stakeholders in their remarks advocate the need to address the challenge of out-of-school children as it dominates discussions.
We try to link this session with the priority areas of national unity pillars, which is access, quality, and system optimization.
Anyway, people, you should know that the Almajiri Commission has successfully identified over 700,000 out-of-school children.
According to a 2024 report by the United Nations Children's Fund, Nigeria has approximately 18.3 million out-of-school children, comprising 10.2 million of primary school age and 8.1 million of secondary school age. To address the menace, UBEC is flagging off a nationwide distribution of school kits.
And just by changing the formula within 1 year, we're able to get all the states to access and utilize over 100 billion naira that was sitting on access for more than 10 years.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Governor Hyacinth Alia tasked the stakeholders to ensure full enrollment of out-of-school children.
To domesticate this vision, the Benue State government, under my watch, will continue to ensure catalytic funding as well as policy regulations that mirror the UBE Act and prioritize compulsory free basic education for Benue children.
The summit, which attracted basic education stakeholders from within and outside the state, is spiced with cultural dances.
To infrastructure now. In Enugu State, the governor has reaffirmed that the ongoing dualization of the 44.1-kilometer Enugu-Nsukka road will be completed by October this year. During an on-the-spot assessment, Governor Peter Mbah expressed satisfaction with the level and quality of work done so far, describing it as a critical socio-economic infrastructure for the residents. He also made a stopover at the security flashpoint and kidnappers' hideout on the road, promising that plans are in full swing to nip insecurity in the bud.
The agreement is that this project will be delivered in October. And so we don't want to sit back in our office and then be, at the end of the day, be again disappointed. So what we're doing and what the team is doing is to ensure, based on the timeline, that the work program is being executed in accordance with the timeline. And what I can see here today is quite pleasing to us. We're satisfied with the speed, and I'm confident that the contractor will deliver. This road has also been one of the flashpoints of security challenges in our state. So what we've also done here today is to go to the exact location where we every now and again have security breaches, and we have basically found a solution that would ensure that those breaches do not occur again.
The Center for the Promotion of Private Enterprise, CPPE, has welcomed Nigeria's strong rebound in capital importation to $6.01 billion in the third quarter of 2025, saying it reflects more investor confidence after recent economic reforms. However, the CPPE has warned that most inflows were short-term portfolio investments heavily concentrated in the banking sector and from a few countries, meaning the gains may be fragile and not yet supporting manufacturing, infrastructure or job creation. Its chief executive, Muda Yusuf, says the government must act, and quickly too, to attract long-term foreign investment, diversify inflows, and strengthen power, transport, and regulatory systems to turn liquidity into real economic growth. The Petroleum Products Retail Outlets Owners Association of Nigeria, Petron, says the President's Executive Order Number 9 of 2026 will improve transparency and make the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited more accountable. The executive order directs all oil and gas revenues, including royalties, taxes, and profit, oil and gas, to be paid directly into the Federation account. It also suspends specific Petroleum Industry Act (PIA) retention provisions. The veteran president, Billy Gills-Harry, calls it a bold reform to boost fiscal stability, investor confidence, and refinery efficiency, while Petron pledges to support the government in ensuring stronger energy security and sector stability. In the world of sports, the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Ebetuku, has applauded the organization of the 15th Biennial Police Games. The Police Games, tagged Asaba 2026, ended today at the Stephen Keshi Stadium in the Delta State capital with funfair. The police boss said the competition has consistently promoted teamwork, physical fitness, and operational preparedness within the force. In his remarks, the Delta State governor, who was represented by his deputy, pledged support to the project, which is aimed at ensuring peace and national progress. In the football event, Zone 4 Makurdi defeated Zone 10 Sokoto to win the title.
Team Zone 4 just made it 4. They just made it 4. And it is safe to say, this one has gone. At the final whistle can just go so that they celebrate. And it goes! And we have defending champions, Team Zone 4, Makurdi.
Delta State remains steadfast in supporting sports as a vehicle for fitness, youth development, peace, unity, and national progress. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as the curtains falls on the 15th Biennial Nigeria Games, let us celebrate the victories, let us cherish the friendship, and let us look ahead with confidence to an even greater edition.
These games have reaffirmed an essential truth. Excellence in sports strengthens excellence in policing. Fitness sharpens readiness. Teamwork enhances effectiveness. Discipline on the field reflects discipline in duty. As Inspector General of Police, this is the second Paiboga under my tenure, and I'm deeply encouraged by the measurable growth in organization, participation, and competitive standards we have witnessed.
In the women's circuit, Jessica Pegula's run of deep finishes has finally found its reward in Dubai. After 6 straight semi-final appearances without the title, Pegula defeated her Ukrainian opponent 6-2, 6-4 in an hour and 12 minutes to win the 2026 Dubai Duty-Free Tennis Championships. That's her 10th WTA Tour singles crown. The American never looked back from the start of the game as she wrapped up the victory in just 72 minutes. Her milestone 10th title is her 4th at the WTA 1000 level as she became just the 3rd American to win the Dubai crown, joining Lindsay Davenport and Venus Williams.
And she seals it in style with an ace. And Lena Svitolina, well, embraces Pegula, and she said to her good match, and it was a really good match by Pegula. And there she is with the iconic trophy, Jessica Pegula, champion here in Dubai in 2026.
In the English Premier League, Tammy Abraham scored his first Premier League goal for Aston Villa since his return to the club as the hosts snatched a draw against Leeds United. Burnley forward Jan Fermin pounced in stoppage time to snatch a 1-1 draw against 10-man Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea have dropped a league-high 17 points from winning positions at home this season. Brighton halted a 6-game winless run with an impressive victory over Brentford to ease the pressure on manager Fabian Hustler. Former England midfielder James Milner set a new record of 654 appearances when the 40-year-old started for Brighton in the win. Barcelona coach Hansi Flick has told his team they must feel responsible after 2 damaging defeats ahead of Sunday's clash against their opponent in La Liga. Barcelona are strengthened by the return of Pedri Gonzalez and Marcus Rashford after injury as they aim to overhaul Real Madrid in the Spanish title race. Rashford returns after a 14-day layoff with a knee problem, while Pedri has missed a month with a hamstring injury. Flick said that the 21-year-old Spanish midfielder Gavi is back in training after undergoing knee surgery in September.
They're convinced about what we are doing, about our style, you know, the way how we played last season, the philosophy, or also this season, are from 5 titles we win 4 titles. So it's like that, and I think also the way I spoke with many players, how we want to play. It's they're convinced about that 100%, and we have to. It's normal. We are back in the normal life, so we also lose. And it's not nice, especially in a club like Barcelona, when you lose, because you know, everyone wants to win, of course. But we have to also accept this. But we have to doing things much better.
On the international scene, US President Donald Trump has said that he will impose global tariffs 15% as he continued to go against a Supreme Court ruling that struck down his previous import taxes. On Friday, Mr. Trump said he would replace the tariffs scrapped by the court with a 10% levy on all goods coming into the United States. But today, he made a U-turn and announced on his Truth social media that this would be jacked up to the maximum and is allowed under a never-before-used trade law. This will come into force on Tuesday, February the 24th, and can only stay in place for around 5 months. Then the administration must seek congressional approval. Meanwhile, the Trump administration has fired a top prosecutor in Virginia just hours after judges appointed him. A panel of judges announced that they had unanimously voted to appoint Mr. James Huntley as the interim U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia. Hours later, the Deputy Attorney General, Todd Blank, wrote on his X platform that the judges do not have the right to pick a U.S. attorney, but only the presidency does, and again gave him the boot. He was picked to fill the seat vacated by Eric Sebert, who resigned in September under pressure from U.S. President Donald Trump. It's the second time this month that the Trump administration has abruptly fired a prosecutor who was appointed by the judges. MPs on the Business and Trade Committee will on Tuesday discuss launching an inquiry into the role of UK trade envoys following Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor's arrest. The former prince was arrested by the police on Thursday on suspicion of misconduct in public office and released under investigation 11 hours later. Mr. Andrew held the role of UK's trade envoy from 2001 to 2011, giving him privileged access to senior government and business contacts around the world. The cross-party committee will discuss options after allegations that the former prince shared confidential government files while he was in that role, but will avoid focusing on him as police investigations are still ongoing. And the main news again. Residents of the Federal Capital Territory went to the polls to elect new leadership for the 6 area councils. The FCT Minister Yesun Wike has defended the restriction of movement order imposed during the area council election. That's the news at 10 tonight. I'm Melinda Akinlami on behalf of the team. Good night.